Hey everyone, it's Rhett. I want to highlight an amazing resource for Magic the Gathering players to be aware of. Whether you are new, returning to the game, or even an old pro, you can make use of this site. What I'm talking about is mtgtop8.com. MTG Top 8 gathers results from top 8 finalists across Magic's many formats and number crunches that data. This includes the deck lists that are used, as well as the tournament's location. If you are looking to beef up your knowledge base for competitive decks in your format, build into, or even pick up a competitive deck, well then you can utilize MTG Top 8 to find out the precise breakdown of the top 8 meta, determine exactly what is providing the best results in any given archetype, and arm yourself with the knowledge base to improve your deck and your gameplay. At the time of this recording, and for the foreseeable future, Arena is going to be the same as Standard, with minor variants. So let's see what this site has to offer. Clicking on the tab for Standard will bring us to a page showing some amazing data points. Metagame breakdown is shown on the left-hand side. It lists all the major archetypes and categorizes them into aggro, control, and combo, going as far as to note percentages of each deck and category. On the right hand side shows decks to beat as well as rogue brews. Decks to beat will list the top decks tiered by performance and percentage of the meta, while rogue brews have promising potential. Below that is a list of staple cards in the format, listed under Most Played Cards. You can click on the Would You Like to Know More hyperlink to filter the most played cards in many ways. For this video, let's concentrate on the information provided under Metagame Breakdown and how we can access even more information from it. In order to do that, we need to choose a deck to look at. I was recently helping my brother tighten up his Golgari Aggro deck. Let's take a look at what we can glean from the results of top 8 finalists. Selecting Golgari Aggro brings up a list of 19 decks. Well, one of these is listed as Abzan, but we'll deal with that in a moment. If you wanted, you could simply click on any one of these decks. Doing so will bring up that specific deck list. And this is perfect if all we wanted to do was net deck any particular deck, or even get a general feel for an archetype. This page also shows the event the deck competed in, along with the finalists from that event. And the site itself is integrated here, so that by clicking on any given card, it'll show you the information for that card listed below the deck itself. However, there's something very special about MTG Top 8. And that is the ability to compare decks. Let's move back to the list of Golgari Aggro decks and hit the Compare Decks button. Well, this is almost an overwhelming amount of data. Taking a moment to look over it, it seems that some of these decks are running blue, making them Sultai. And this allows them to play Discovery and Dispersal, Hydroid Crisis, Hostage Taker, even use cards out of their sideboard like Unmoored Ego and Negate. Another one of these decks is running white, making them Abzan, and that allows them to play Lyra Dawnbringer, Knight of Autumn, Tristani Discordant, and they also get cards like Ixalan's Binding and Settle the Wreckage out of the sideboard. Yet another of these decks seems to be Golgari Graveyard, using Stitcher Supplier and Glowspore Shaman as ways to fuel its graveyard for cards like Multani, Molderhulk, and Lotleth Giant. While each of these strategies have their advantages, let's just focus on Golgari Aggro. With a few clicks, we can remove the decks that are not Golgari, leaving us with 15 decks to compare. This includes one deck that seems to have been put in with plains instead of swamps. Now that we have condensed our information, what is this data showing us, and how can we utilize it? We can use this information to build a competitive version of this archetype by taking into account the averages and making judgment calls as we see fit. Each of these decks we are left with have many common themes. As far as the land base is concerned, the average total for lands falls in at 23.5 lands, with some decks running up to 2 detection towers, which, in a meta where Dive Down, Carnage Tyrant, and Shalai exists, perhaps this is worth including as a one-of in our list. Every deck also seems to include at least 2 Memorial to Folly and a playset of Overgrown Tomb, as well as Woodland Cemeteries, with an average on basics of 7.7 forests and 5.3 swamps if we add in those misaccounted for plains. So the mana base looks like 1 Detection Tower, 2 Memorial to Folly, 4 Overgrown Tomb, 4 Woodland Cemetery, 8 forests, 5 swamps, for a total of 24 lands. Moving on to creatures, the averages look like a playset of Landwehr Elves, which will provide access to additional mana ahead of curve, leading to explosive starts that will help transition into the mid-game. A mixture of Jadelight Ranger, Merfolk Branchwalker, and Seeker Squire is an explore package for card advantage and filtering, allowing the pilot to draw additional lands or dump cards into the graveyard to retrieve at another time. Wildgrowth Walker comes in at a 3 of, working congruently with the explore creatures to gain life, hedging bets against burn, and grow from a defensive creature into an offensive threat. Midnight Reaper makes the list as a 2 of, as he replaces himself and in a meta full of board wipes and removal can grab more gas. Ravenous Chupacabra rounds up to 3, providing removal that also leaves a body behind to advance the board state. Golgari Finebroker replaces itself by allowing the choice permanent from the graveyard. This includes cards previously put in the graveyard with the explore triggers, or even removed by the opponent. Thrashing Brontodon is also going to be put in as a 1 of, providing utility in a meta with tons of viable targets. With a very respectable 3/4 body, Carnage Tyrant is a 2 of, for the Mighty Beat Stick it is, and its built-in advantage against control. Taking this as writ, the average creature base looks like 2 Carnage Tyrant, 1 Golgari Finebroker, 4 Jadelight Ranger, 4 Landwehr Elves, 4 Merfolk Branchwalker, 2 Midnight Reaper, 3 Ravenous Chupacabra, 1 Thrashing Brontodon, and 3 Wildgrowth Walker, for a total of 24 creatures. Looking over the list of other spells, we're going to see a removal package, as well as a card advantage suite. Assassin's Trophy is a solid singleton, as a catch-all removal spell with a small downside. Note that this card destroys target permanent, and can be relevant for a flip Search for Azcanta or Legion's Landing. Cast Down pulls its own weight, and is hailed as the primary removal spell of the format, with more than a quarter of it running 2 of them. Vraska's Contempt is an auto-include and averages in at 2 copies, as it hits creatures and planeswalkers, and provides incremental advantage with the life gain. Coasting in at 3, Find Finality is one of the key cards in this deck, as Find can gain a net card advantage, and allows piloting plays to retrieve other prime cards that might have been filtered during explore triggers earlier in the game, or even removed by the opponent. Finality functions as an asymmetrical board wipe that can lead to unexpected blowout wins from a stalled board state. The Eldest Reborn deserves its spot in the main for its utility and inherent value, as it provides creature and planeswalker removal, discard for card advantage, as well as the ability to return a creature or planeswalker from any graveyard. Vivian Reed averages at 2 copies, which is unsurprising as she replaces herself with her +1, and her minus hates out artifacts and enchantments, as well as the flying creatures that are prevalent in the format. The ultimate almost ensures that the aggro strategy of this deck will bring about victory. Vraska Golgari Queen averages at 0.7, and I think that there is more versatility here than adding another Vivian Reed, as the +1 acts as incremental life gain and sifts through the deck, while the minus acts as a virtual abrupt decay, hitting a non-land with CMC 3 or less. The ultimate is another absurdly good win con for the deck, allowing the pilot to secure victory with even a mana dork. The list for other spells settles in with 1 enchantment, the Eldest Reborn, 5 instants, 1 Assassin's Trophy, 2 of those cast down, the other 2 Vraska's Contempt, 3 Planeswalkers, 2 of which are Vivian Reeds, 1 is Vraska Golgari Queen, and 3 sorceries of Find Finality, for a total of 12 non-creature spells. One last stop before we move towards wrapping up. These lists also include sideboards, and each sideboard is going to be built towards the perceived weaknesses of the deck, as well as include silver bullets to exploit your opponent's deck. Briefly looking over the listed sideboard potentials, I'm settling in on the following list. A single Assassin's Trophy, because it deals with anything. Deathgorge Scavenger is going to be put in here as a one of for Graveyard Hate against the Mirror Match and Is It Drakes. 4 Duress as an anti-control package. 1 Karn Scion of Urza for the draw engine. 2 Cruel Harpooner, because there are plenty of flying creatures to hate on in this meta. A single Plaguecrafter, as it's going to provide extra hate versus creatures and planeswalkers. It can be traded up for a Landmark Elf for removal, and leads to some pretty degenerate lines of play. I decided on 2 Ritual of Suit here, as I lean towards this versus Golden Demise. Ritual of Suit can hit Hydroid Colossus, along with anything that Golden Demise would. 1, the Eldest Reborn, is also going to end up in the sideboard because it's Value Town USA. Another Thrashing Brontodon also. And this could be Reclamation Sage, but the fat body on this dinosaur might be too good to pass up. And then our 4th copy of Wildgrowth Walker is going to come in to shore up against aggro and burn strategies quite nicely. We talked about how MTG Top 8 can be used to help you when it comes to deck building. However, knowing the in-depth possibilities of an archetype can help your favor when it comes to knowing what to play around instead of into. So don't be afraid to look at and compare as many decks and archetypes as you can. This will increase your knowledge base, and along with that, help set you on a path to outplay your opponents and dodge the silver bullets they have chambered for you. Hope you enjoyed this video and that it helps you increase your knowledge and skill. Feel free to message me or even catch me on Twitch. Give this video a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and share it with your community. Until next time, take care.